Y'all, my coffee is so light. Okay. That's not bad. All right. Let's just get right into the root of why I'm even doing this video. So yesterday I put out a blog post that was called "Who's Invited to the Cookout?" And with that blog post, I feel like a lot of people were maybe thrown off by the title of it and maybe was expecting me to list off every deserving white person, person of color outside of the community on who's acceptable and who's not acceptable. For that, I think those situations are extremely hard just because there have been too many times in the past where we have deemed somebody acceptable within our community, and then within a month or a year, they prove why they weren't really an alliance. So I'm not really too trusting on people who seem like allies, but, you know, eventually fuck up. Not to say that we don't have allies. I just am not one to really go around giving ribbons out for being a decent human being. With the title though, it definitely was supposed to be an attention grab, so I'm glad it got some of your attention, but it also was to have a closer look within ourselves, within our own community, on what's to be acceptable and what we really need to work on. I know for some of you that's hard because you're not used to the conversation being geared towards you, directed towards you, or even asked of your opinion. But yes, this topic was a Black opinion. If I needed to state that, I'm stating that now. It was for, you know, the people within the house of Blackness. I think the conversation itself was to talk about who is a shoo-in. And like I said, LGBTQA, all the alphabet kids, call it what you want. But I think that if we are so hell-bent on asking for equality and change from everybody else outside of our race, we need to hold ourselves accountable as well. And I feel like that is a topic that's always breezed over, but we never really want to dig at how much transphobicness and just homophobicness just lies within our own families at times. I know that some of us were raised in the South or raised by, yo, this highlight is not playing no motherfucking games. I know a lot of us were raised in families that were either like really religious or just, you know, they didn't play that gay shit. So it's like, when I also think of alliances within ourselves and our community, I'm wondering, are we speaking up for people at these family events, you know, or when we're around the family members that are saying these harmful things, are we checking each other? Because we want to check everybody else so fucking bad that I feel like we need to also check each other. I also had received some comments on canceling people is just going to isolate them and that doesn't help. Here's my thing with that. I never said anywhere within my post that anyone was canceled. Do you like my mug? I never said nobody was fucking canceled. So I hate when words are just put in my mouth. That's not, you know, we can put other things there. But we're not putting fucking words in my mouth. No. So my whole view of this cancellation thing is it's also absolute bullshit. You already see how Kanye's going down. I thought we canceled him, but we hype about the gospel album. I think there's a difference between being canceled and being put in timeout. Some of y'all motherfuckers need to be put in fucking timeout. Sorry. And it's disheartening because the same people that are trying to make the argument that canceling doesn't help or making excuse for people being shitty and transphobic are people who would probably still make an excuse for R. Kelly and the shit he's done. And if you don't agree with that, then we should also be on the same page that if somebody was getting canceled, it for sure would be fucking R. Kelly. To be quite frankly, I mean, he could die tomorrow and I wouldn't give a fuck. I feel like when there are people within our community suffering because of one or two or just a group of hateful, violent people, you have to say something. Waiting on someone to just click and not be ignorant no more, no. So they can continue being destructive towards the people within our community? No. All of us, we in our community need to start holding each other accountable and speaking the fuck up. And I also really mean that among men. Sorry. I've had too many Black men that felt some type of way about that post yesterday. And I understand that their argument is, hey, we're doing better. We need to learn. We weren't taught. But a lot of Black men have done unspeakable things to the Black women within their own families that those things get swept under the rug for so long, because within the family dynamic, to speak on it or to even hold that person accountable for what they have now put a lifetime of trauma on, these Black children, these Black, girls, boys. We don't hold them accountable. We sweep it under the rug. That story is too common theme amongst us. But the story of confronting the pedophile or the person who committed the heinous acts is not a common theme. The victims are a common theme, but the people that we should be holding accountable, it just seems that it's not happening, and it's really disheartening. I think the person really was upset because I didn't offer a solution, apparently, and here's my take on that. I think that I serve merely as a light at times. I think that I am supposed to bring light to certain situations that make people uncomfortable. I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable, we need to fucking talk about it. So my job as well with bringing light is not to overstep anybody else's experience. And that being said, within our, gay queer community, we need to be able to let them speak and have a voice amongst Black people, not just within the queer community. You see what I'm saying? They need to be able to have their voice amongst Black people. So I don't want to be offering solutions on their behalf because I do not live their experiences. The only thing I can do is point y'all in their direction and say, hey, hear them out. They need to be heard out. Everything else seemed pretty easy to grasp, just the whole concept of being invited and just being amongst the cookout. I feel like the cookout should be a safe space amongst Black people, period. If you think the cookout space should be shared, you know what, that's up to you, that's fine. This is an opinion piece. But I think the cookout needs to be a shared space for Black people because it seems like it's hard for Black people to get on the same page to begin with. So once we get on the same page, cool. Let's just start having admissions to everybody. I don't care at that point. What I care about most is the sanity and the mental health of our people, which means that we need to get on the same fucking page and start holding people accountable. Another part of the issue is there's also a portion of people that have the rebuttal, well, I'm not around people like that. I don't see people like that. I'm not hanging around with people like that. What's really fucking annoying about people who say stupid ass bullshit like that, I'm not around this, I'm not around that, I haven't seen this, I haven't seen that. Shut the fuck up. You're spewing your ignorance like that. You're spewing your ignorance. Why do you think that you can have a universal opinion when you've only lived one place your whole fucking life? Why do you think that you can have just such a broad general opinion in topics when you haven't seen enough to understand? It's so ignorant to dismiss certain topics just because you weren't around those things, or just because you've never experienced those things or seen those things, or my homeboys don't do stuff like that. Shut the fuck up. There's still niggas doing it. Shut the fuck up. That's it. Shut the fuck up. Y'all always think because y'all have never seen nothing around me, that ain't going on. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know what you sound like? You sound like fucking white people when they say, I don't see any racism around me in my environment. And because they haven't, they know all. Just like because you haven't seen any of your homeboys disrespecting women, just like you ain't seen none of your homegirls being ain't shit towards fellow, oh, she got out, she this, she that. she'll never do this. Just because your homegirl don't talk down on other, you know what I mean? You can't dismiss a topic based off of just your surroundings and views. You're dismissing too many other topics. A lot of y'all need to humble yourselves, shut the fuck up, and do the work by just listening. Baby, listen. Just listen to the other people. Some experiences you will never fucking know or understand, and that is fine. Some of our jobs is just merely to advocate for certain things. That's it. Tell me your opinions, send me your opinions. Probably won't agree in some cases, that's fine. You may get too sensitive about my delivery and feel like I'm being too aggressive. I know, Black women, aggressive, too passionate. Yeah, tell me your opinion. Thank you.